Now that just looks silly, but today, wow, you can really just, this looks ridiculous. I'll take it off, but basically why I have my, oh God, why I have the blue light filter, whoops, why I have the blue light filter glasses on today is because I have a thing called STI, apparently, or Gerstenkorn in German. I just had to translate it, and basically, just a little bit of itchiness, and it's going to hopefully not be here much longer. But anyway, it's really, really sensitive, and I have the fan in the background. It was blowing air into my eyes all day, and I was like, oh, this is even worse. So this is my horrible case of the Mondays. TOS didn't work all day today. We were doing a plethora of other activities on the stream today. It was still good fun. We still learned a lot, but I was like a pirate during the whole stream. Like everything is blurry, so I was. You know, if there was a day for TOS to stop working, today would have been the one. I want to talk about a few things though. First of all, and this is just ridiculous that I'm making a video right now, but CVAC, CureVac, a German biotech company, really, really popular around the coronavirus space with a possible vaccine. Phase 3 study already. I want to talk about this one a little bit as a possible swing trade. It recently IPO'd. You guys know that I'm not crazy about IPOs, but I think this one's definitely worth talking about. And also the reason is because, you know, our lead gappers, LMPX, LODE, MBOT, and MBOT, the only trading I got in today was pre-market for pretty much just like 4 or 5 trades, most of which were scratches because TOS was having issues and I would get out of the trades all the time. I think I only had 1 or 2 actual trades. So today, small profit, nothing really to run home about, but the biggest thing I think that was beneficial today is that we talked about a lot of different stuff, dividends, different portfolios, or different brokerages worth looking at too. And I want to kind of bring to the forefront a few of the highlights from today, and then obviously focus on this biotech. So guys, before we go over to the trading screen, don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy this content. And if you're totally new, definitely consider subscribing. We go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to review the watch list and then trade the market open if TOS is working, unless we're gonna have to switch brokers, but we'll see what happens. I need to stop talking before my eye falls out, so let's get into the charts now and try not to make too much fun of me in the comments below. I'm doing this because I care. Now back to Superman mode. Woohoo! All right, guys, so here we are. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, we only made 44 bucks today because I got like, what, 4 trades in pre-market, and then TOS absolutely froze 10 minutes before the market opened and we were not able to touch it whatsoever. So luckily, at least I walked away green today, so probably more than I could ask for. And that was with trading MBOT, which was kind of one of the lead gappers on the day. I'm not even sure if our charts are going to update. It's been absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, quick little recap, MBOT, 7 million float, US medical instruments company. You know, had the big potential, but there was big resistance on MBOT around 12, and I was just trying to trade the possible break of 12, and I kept on getting it kept on having fake outs, but I would luckily buy the pullbacks first and then sell as the price was getting weak. Now, I did notice TOS was having some big issues, and we're not even gonna be able to recap these trades, but it's not too important. And I did forget to take video of this, but my first trade on MBOT, there was an error message. And I forgot what the error message said, but basically something, there was technical issues, and I made the trade. I just got my entry, and then TOS had some issues. I had to close TOS. I came back to TOS, and then I closed that entry for a break even. So that was my first trade today with TOS. I was like, that was the most horrible experience I've just had probably in a long time with TOS. I've had some bad experiences with TOS, but that was a bad one. Tried to trade it a few more times, made a little bit of money on it, and then before you know it, TOS crashed for a second time. So I'm not even, okay, so here we have it, MBOT kind of popping up here. Why is the chart so weird looking? I'm not really sure what's going on here. So yeah, man, TOS today just absolutely wicked trying to use this thing. So this is the first pop. I had a nice pullback, had a perfect little base hit here, but like I said, I had to restart TOS. Luckily, it only took me like 2 minutes to restart TOS, and when it came back, I realized the move I would have wanted was over, and I just closed this for a small, basically a break even. So kind of annoying. My first trade, you know, should have been 2-3% profit. I should have made 60 bucks on that alone based on this position size. Second trade here worked out okay. This was a bit of a partial entry. This should have been a really, really nice trade, but I didn't get a full fill here. And then this one, I think I gave back a little bit of profits, and then TOS froze. So that was my beginning. That was my start of the Monday. It was absolutely shaky. And then I wanted to trade the dip here, but again, the red to green move here, TOS was frozen, couldn't do that. And then LODG was one of our big winners today. Technically I could be trading it right now, but with my eye hurting and I don't feel 100%, and then TOS having so many issues today, I just don't really see a reason to push it today. I mean, there's really, really no reason. This is actually really unfortunate that we were not able to trade LODE. And yeah, I just remembered I actually had a trade on LODE. Trade this dip here, got shaken out right before the bounce, which is a little bit unfortunate. But LODE, 22 million float, US real estate company, Q2 financials. This one had an okay catalyst. The long-term chart on it was, let's see here. Hold on, this is not LODE, this is RKT. I don't know why it's not. Man, TOS today is really dropping the ball hard. But, we had huge resistance around 2, which made me a little bit uncomfortable, but I knew that 1.3 was big support. And this is what we were talking about pre-market. 1 second here. Oops, sorry. Okay, so LODE, we knew there was big support at 1.3. I was looking to buy the red to green move here. Now, there's no saying if I would have got this or not. I probably would have missed this, knowing me. But then we had a beautiful pullback here. This would have been a huge buy entry right here at 1.44. Then this thing rips up 20%. When I saw that after TOS started working a little bit again and loaded the charts for the first time, I was like, no. Can't believe we missed that perfect move. This little downtrend right here would have been tricky. I probably would have traded the VWAP bounce, but again, tough to say what I would have done. Maybe I would have got stuck in this flush or something as well. Then we had big support here at 1.4. Knowing me, I probably would have traded this first one. I'm not sure and took a base hit here. I'm not sure if I would have traded this or if I would have got flushed out here. I'm not sure what would have happened here. Quick pullback here, 1 minute pullback. I'm not really sure if I would have traded this one. There was a nice pullback here. Again, it's hard to say what I would have done. But as we started moving higher again with big volume, I probably would have traded at least one of these pullbacks here. Hopefully not this one got flushed out. And then again, a second beautiful pullback, a breakout, pullback, breakout, just LODE up till about 10:50 was just absolutely beautiful. And at 11 o'clock, we're typically wrapping up our trading. So this would have been a beautiful, beautiful trading session today. But, it's always easy to say in hindsight, this would have been so great. Who knows what could have happened? Maybe we would have got in some of these flushes to the downside. But typically, I'm a pretty risk-averse trader, and I wouldn't be jumping into a second breakout at this area. I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, this could have also been a perfect pullback and then a breakout to 2. So who knows? Maybe I would have actually lost money on LODE. It doesn't matter. In the end, it's all hindsight at this point, and we didn't get to trade any of this. It is what it is, and that is why actually I want to talk about different brokerages that we should maybe consider looking into. And I actually do have accounts on several of these, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about CVAC. Oh, that was a weird CVAC. CureVac, and this is the German biotech that recently IPO'd. And let's pray to baby Jesus here that CVAC is going to load. TOS is just really dropping the ball so hard today. But let's talk about why this one might be a good. Let me just make sure my audio is on. Yeah, let's talk about why CVAC could be a potential trade. And I typically don't trade around IPOs. Sometimes I day trade them, but I typically don't invest into IPOs out of the gates. But a quick little overview here. This company was founded in 2000 and it's headquartered in Tübingen, Germany. And CureVac raised more than 213 in this IPO. And they recently had another private funding, where they raised 640 million that closed in July. And this company is, they've been on the news several times with Trump trying to buy them out, and I just constantly on the news. Basically, they're a phase 3 trial company, a trial for the coronavirus, and that's why they've been so far on the news, because they are one of the furthest along in the process. So one thing I do want to mention here, this IPO, and this is actually text I copied from, I think, the Barron's article. But what I want to highlight, not really what I want to say myself, is that this IPO enjoys stronger investor support. So right now it's not coming up. Let me hold on. Let me go to Finviz here, where I have CureVac pulled up. So yeah, so here we had an IPO, and this one looks like it actually IPO'd roughly at 45 and then pulled back, and then it had an explosive move. So we know what happened to, let's say, let's actually duplicate for a sec. I'm sorry it's so unorganized today, but such a weird day we've having. So RKT, this was a recent IPO we talked about quite a bit as well, and I said this in my old RKT video that came out, I don't know, last weekend or so. Is RKT a possible trade? And I said, for me, no, it's not really. It's at the ranges, to me, was too explosive of a move. I'm a little bit cautious about this one. I don't think a mortgage company. I think, overall, we know how fast this one's growing. We know basically the numbers behind this one. We know what the average growth rate is of mortgages. We know that mortgages in general might be even more a little bit sketchy with possible defaults coming in due to coronavirus. So I didn't see RKT being explosive, right? It's like, it's not really saving a world problem right now. It's also a little bit harder to get behind from something like Beyond Meat or something where, is it going to take over this whole industry? And if it did, what would the multiples of that be? And then how do we price that in? With RKT, I didn't really find that, explosiveness behind RKT. I'm not saying it's a bad company. I'm just saying I felt like it was overvalued for the IPO. And even the offering knew it was overvalued. So this initial value was around like 22 or something bucks, and then they brought it down to 17.50 before the IPO because they weren't finding enough people investing in the IPO. So to me, that was a really, really big red flag. Now with CVAC, it's the exact opposite, where they IPO'd and they constantly were increasing the price. I think the first IPO price was around 14, and then it ended up being here in the 40s. So it just shows you that there is much more buyers. They were they were oversubscribed, which means too many people are trying to invest in this company. And now you can see it's really, really shooting up. You could argue RKT also shot up, but I think anytime, a kind of RKT is a trendy, it is a hot company. And now don't get me wrong, but I do think that CVAC is a company that, let's say they do have the final cure to coronavirus and they license out to all the other pharma companies. I mean, this is like something that could be a little bit more exponential growth, and it's hard to price in that compared to RKT. So for me, CVAC, again, I don't really like investing in IPOs, but I think if I did day trade CVAC, I would probably look for something closer to $55 support, maybe high 60s. So we opened up here, then we pulled back, and then we closed near the high here at 55. And I always talk about 5.5, $2.50. I love the kind of $5 whole and $0.50 kind of zone. So if it's $2.50 or if it's $5.50, we typically trade small caps. So those are the price ranges I'm looking at. But it's a huge psychological zone. So you find a lot of price action around those areas. So for me, I would probably be looking for some pre-market or after hour activity into a flash pullback if I wanted to trade CVAC, probably for a swing trade. Now, we didn't really get that absolutely at all. CVAC, they IPO'd, they pulled back, had a bit of a red to green move, closed higher, found VWAP as support, and then kind of continued to trend up all into the afternoon. This is Friday evening. Now this is Monday morning up here. So, riding this wave and selling into the pre-market highs would have been the ticket on CVAC. But now, this is kind of what I was mentioning earlier. I'll be looking at the high 60s or maybe even 5.5 for a possible entry. Now, I kind of doubt it's going to go to 5.5 really quickly. I'm sure there's a lot of people looking for support in this zone. As I say, whole and $0.50 are just so important, especially as a kind of a psychological game with an IPO. Because you just don't really know what to value it. But right now, this stock is over 50 or it's under 50. It's over 100 or it's under 100. Those are kind of really, really key zones. So that's probably what I would be looking to do, buy this on a bigger dip and wait for support to really show, and then maybe trade it into some pre-market action or into kind of a market spike, an open spike if that happens. So that's probably how I would be looking to trade CVAC. But again, it's not a typical company that I would be trading. It's not my typical go-to small cap, but I find them quite interesting. And I do like watching IPOs. I just typically don't trade them or invest in them. I don't trade them because they don't typically fall into my small cap criteria, and then I don't invest into them because I like to invest into stocks where I find that they have found decent support, and I have a hard time calculating support on IPOs, and that's kind of as simple as it gets. I like to keep my trading strategies very, very simple, and I also like to understand what my risk is. I like to understand what my risk reward is, and with CVAC, it's a little bit harder to do that. So I would have to kind of arbitrarily do that in terms of like, I don't know what a bottom on CVAC looks like, but as an investment or as a day trade, what I could do is one, just say, 55 is my max risk. So if I'm buying into the 60s, I would be risking here about, let's say, 7% or so. And my max stop is usually around 8% with a 10% like hard cutoff rate. And then I would look for this to maybe, so I would start accumulating between 55 and 65, and then maybe look for a second top here at 95 or even break of 100. That would be a decent risk reward trade. I don't know if it would work, but that's kind of how I would start approaching this, and then kind of based on more price action, adjusting my overall risk reward. I think that's how I would play CVAC based on how I trade other things and based on what I've seen with recent IPOs and what I've also seen with the small cap. So kind of an interesting ticker here with just extreme publicity. Not to mention, and I probably should have wrote this down here, is the German government has a 30% stake. And again, guys, do your own due diligence here. German Gov, and then also Bill Gates. Now not totally sure if it's Bill Gates himself or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but they have quite a heavy investment in this as well. So this is not like some sort of like giant question mark company like Dan Bilzerian's Ignite company. I mean, it's it has a little bit more behind it, let's just say. So this would be a kind of interesting play to keep watching, and I would love to kind of follow up on this one in a little bit and see how it goes. So we'll probably be talking about it a bit more in upcoming live streams. But yeah, today's live stream was the weirdest thing ever, man. But it was good fun. Like, we switched it up. We were talking about different tickers. We were talking about dividend stocks. We were talking about trading platforms. And, it was kind of good fun as well. It was a little bit unfortunate that we missed a lot of action. But a big thing to kind of talk about is this is why you always want to have a secondary exchange. Now, I have several brokers, and what I do is if I'm day trading, I have a broker for day trading. TD Ameritrade is my day trading platform. I have a swing trading platform. I have a dividend portfolio platform. That way, I kind of separate all of my different accounts and portfolios, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And a lot of the times, if you have your investing account next to your day trading account, it's going to get messy, and you're going to start touching your investments like a day trade, and you're going to start taking your day trades and maybe turning them into investments that shouldn't be in the first place. So I like to really separate that. The problem is I don't really have a secondary day trading account. I used to day trade on Webull, which is a pretty okay platform. You guys know about it. Probably it's been talked about quite often. They're kind of like Robinhood, but much better interface. So actually, I've done day trading on Webull, and it's actually okay. Probably one of the best browser-based trading platforms. And actually, in the video description below, tradejournal.co/connect, you guys can get 2 free stocks if you sign up to Webull here. So maybe something to consider there. So maybe I could make another portfolio here and have this as my backup portfolio. What else we have is Fidelity. I've heard a lot of good stuff on Fidelity, and I might have to look into this one. So it's called Fidelity Trader, Day Trader Pro or something like that. Where is it? Active Trader Pro. I was like, no, it's not Day Trader Pro. Active Trader Pro. I've heard good things about this platform, so I'm going to probably make an account here. And again, if you make an account, doesn't mean you have to use it. And I think that's a nice thing. So at least if I want to use it, I'll be ready to go. with a few caveats, and I'll mention those as well. We have Charles Schwab, and these guys on their trading software right here. I've also heard pretty decent things, and also something to notice, you get access to halt indicators. So you know when stocks are going to be halted. That's a big thing that I'm lacking on TD Ameritrade ThinkorSwim platform. I would like to see the halts in the order book. So I find that would be a reason to sign up for the Charles Schwab platform. For US clients, Webull, Fidelity, and Charles Schwab are all free platforms, and definitely worth looking into for US residents. Now we have for international residents and US residents as well. This is an offshore brokerage account, capital markets elite group, or the CMEG, as a lot of people refer them to. Definitely a good option here. Now these guys are a bit more expensive, and they also charge a monthly trading platform fee as well. But what's nice about these guys is you can get around the $25,000 pattern day trader rule. They'll give you a margin account, and you can trade 4 times leverage on that with even like $500 or something like that. So again, always read through all these things yourselves. Just notice, like, I would not recommend CMEG if you're just getting started, because you will be eaten alive with fees, and this is probably not a very sustainable route for you. If you're a really good trader, this is probably a way to go. And this is the one, I think, that Ross Cameron did, the $500 challenge, where he turned $500 into $50,000 in the first month. So, you know, it's possible on this platform. It's just the fees are very kind of aggressive. We also have interactive brokers, which I've always heard mixed things about it. Some people love it, some people hate it. I constantly see videos where, like, I will never use interactive brokers again. I can't speak from my own experience, but I know that every broker has their problem. I mean, TD Ameritrade, the whole reason we're talking about this today is because TD Ameritrade didn't work all morning. How crazy is that? Just didn't work. People couldn't log in. People had open trades they couldn't close. It was just an absolute disaster. So the interactive brokers, I know this is for international people as well, so this is really, really good. I would probably consider looking into this one, and this is what I refer people to quite often that are international based. Webull, we talked about. TD Ameritrade, this one's not international. Well, it kind of is. Figure it out if it's international for you. I don't know all the countries that can use it. It's a little bit confusing for me to talk about that because they change it all the time, and just contact their support. What I will say about TD Ameritrade is their support is absolutely amazing. I love their support. TD Ameritrade is the broker behind ThinkorSwim platform, and that is the platform, obviously, that we are using here. Now, a quick little side note, what I figured out today is if you go to your, if you go to trade and then you go to trading platforms and then you click on ThinkorSwim, you go to this page where you can click on the web version, and then the web version brings you basically to what your app looks like on your phone. Now, we could have maybe traded on this today, but I gotta say, this has been an absolute nightmare so far. I don't even know how to move my chart to the left. Maybe I'm being a little bit ridiculous right now, but coming from ThinkorSwim, it's much less, let's just say, which for some people they love. But when you get used to something, like I've gotten used to ThinkorSwim after so many years of using it, I'm definitely a little bit spoiled and a little bit, sometimes have a hard time using different apps. So I don't know, call me crazy. But at the same time, I kind of appreciate Webull's very easy to use interface. So I think Webull would probably take the prize on desktop platforms. I mean, on browsers, but I think Charles Schwab and Fidelity, actually all these other ones when it comes to desktops are pretty good. Webull does not have I don't think they have a desktop. Maybe they do, but I'll have to look into that. So yeah, the whole point of this is just, always have a plan B. You always be ready to go, and just don't only have one broker. Now, like I said, I don't have just one broker, but for day trading, it's definitely a thing where I only have one broker. And at the same time, that's a little bit foolish. Now, being a US resident, it's a bit of a problem because I would have to put in $25,000 into any other broker I want, unless I use the CMEG group. But then, I'm paying monthly fee. So I don't also not want to, I don't want to use a broker that I'm not actively using but paying for. So it's a bit of like a, a big question mark, like what's the best way to go about it? And I would probably just say, if you have $50,000 plus, then you could obviously put 25,000 in each one. Yeah, but again, it's something that I think everyone's going to have to tweak for themselves. And there's no one size fits all. So I'm not going to go into all the details. I just kind of wanted to shed on light on some popular brokers for day trading, and obviously this whole issue as a whole. For now, it looks like TD Ameritrade has fixed the issue, and we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But for now, let's cross our fingers that everything will be fine tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's everything for this video, guys. Thanks for sticking on the stream. It was actually kind of fun. The chat room was just absolutely full again, and I gotta say I was surprised so many people were sticking around. But I guess that shows that we have a phenomenal community, guys, and I'm super grateful for it. And if you're totally new here, guys, consider subscribing, join the community. We go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to review the watch list and then trade the market open. We'd love to see you there and see what you can contribute to the community. All right, guys, that's everything for now. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't done so already, and I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Till then, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.